changed again, authoritative, commanding. "Sheriff's Department, open up. We know you're in there."
If you're listening to this, please don't come looking for me. Let me stay missing. My name's David Brennan, and I made a mistake. A simple, stupid mistake on a stormy night in Louisiana. I took a shortcut off Highway 90 near the Atchafalaya Basin. You think monsters are the scariest things in the dark. You think death is the worst thing that could happen. No. The real horror isn't dying. The real horror is living when you're not supposed to exist anymore. I'm gonna tell you my story. Not to save myself, it's too late for that. I'm telling you this so you know if you ever see a lonely blue light floating in the swamp, don't stop. Just drive. Drive until your engine catches fire. Because if you stop, you might never leave. October 31st, 2019. Halloween night. The rain wasn't natural. It didn't fall like water. It fell like liquid lead, hammering against my windshield in this deafening industrial rhythm. I was on Old Service Road 347, the back route that cuts through the Atchafalaya Basin. My GPS had died 20 miles back. Cell service, gone. Radio, nothing but static. That white noise that sounds like the universe screaming. I'd been driving for 6 hours straight. Charlotte to New Orleans. My eyes were heavy. The rhythm of the wipers was hypnotic. Back and forth, lulling me into that dangerous space between awake and asleep. And then I saw her. A girl, standing dead center in the road, long dark hair plastered to her face, white dress, just standing there, staring at my headlights. I slammed the brakes. The car didn't stop. It slid. The world went into slow motion. I heard the metal screaming, glass shattering like ice, and then weightlessness. That terrible moment of floating before the impact. When the world stopped spinning, I was upside down. The car had rolled off the road and into the swamp. Murky water was leaking in through the cracked windshield, cold, smelling of ancient rot and sulfur. I tried to move. My left leg was pinned under the crushed dashboard. I pulled, twisted, nothing. The water was rising, up to my chest, my neck, my chin. I was going to drown in the dark, alone, and no one would find me for weeks. And then, through the cracked, spider-webbed glass, I saw it. The car door wasn't opened. It was ripped away. Just torn off its hinges like tinfoil. A hand grabbed my ankle. It didn't feel like skin. It felt like rough, wet tree bark. With one violent pull, I was dragged out of the wreckage and thrown onto the muddy bank. I gasped for air, coughing up black swamp water that tasted like pennies in decay. Towering over me was a man, or something shaped like a man. He wore a tattered coat that blended perfectly with the hanging Spanish moss. His face was hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat that dripped with rain. In his hand, he held that lantern, but the flame inside wasn't fire. It was a cold, pulsating blue energy that seemed to push back the darkness. When he spoke, his voice was like gravel rolling down a well. "You're loud, boy. The swamp likes the quiet." I begged him, told him I needed a doctor, a hospital. Please, just help me. He made this dry, humorless sound, not quite a laugh. "Nearest town is 20 miles through mud and water. You won't make it. The Rougarou is hunting tonight. You stay here, you become part of the mud. Get up." I didn't know what a Rougarou was, but the way he said it, the words sounded ancient, hungry, like it had teeth. I couldn't walk, but fear has a way of making you move. I leaned on him. His body was impossibly cold, like stone pulled from a river. We walked into the darkness. Guided only by that ghostly blue light. He took me to a ruin, an old stone mausoleum, half sunken into the earth, like the swamp was slowly swallowing it. The walls were covered in strange markings, symbols I didn't recognize. Not French, not Spanish, something older. Inside, it was dry. There were moth-eaten blankets piled in the corner, old tools, jars filled with dark liquids, and everywhere, candles, dozens of candles, all unlit. He sat me down on those blankets, pointed at the door. "Stay here. Don't go near the door after dark." I asked who he was, why he lived in a tomb. He stared at me with eyes that looked like they'd seen too much. "Name's Ezekiel. I keep the light, and the light keeps the darkness out." He handed me a clay cup filled with thick, dark liquid. It smelled of earth and bitter roots, like drinking the swamp itself. "Drink. It'll numb the pain. It binds your spirit to the soil." I drank it. God help me, I drank it. My eyelids grew heavy almost instantly. The agony in my leg faded to a dull throb. But my mind stayed wide awake, paralyzed but conscious. Ezekiel sat by the door, staring out into the storm. He didn't move, didn't blink. He looked like a statue, waiting.
I must have dozed off. A sound woke me. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It was coming from the heavy iron door, like fingernails on rusted metal. Slow, deliberate, patient. Then I heard a voice. It wasn't a monster's growl. It was my voice. "Open the door. I'm hurt. Help me. Let me in." My blood ran cold. I was sitting right there inside. How could my voice be outside? The voice changed. It became soft. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old. "Daddy, it's so cold out here. Open the door, Daddy. The water's rising." I whispered to Ezekiel, "Who is that?" Without turning around, he said, "Don't listen. It steals voices. It wants you to break the seal." The scratching got louder, more desperate. The voice changed again, authoritative, commanding. "Sheriff's Department, open up. We know you're in there." "Open this door immediately." I shouted at Ezekiel, told him it was the police. They could save us. We had to let them in. he shouted, the first time I'd heard him raise his voice. "No! It's a trick! Look at the gap under the door, you fool! Look!" I looked. There was maybe a 1-inch gap under that heavy iron door. In the blue light from the lantern, I should have seen boots, feet, something. But there was nothing. Just black smoke swirling like liquid ink, reaching, searching. The voices were coming from the smoke. Suddenly, the scratching stopped. The silence that followed was worse, heavy, suffocating, like the air before a tornado. Ezekiel stood up slowly. He looked tired. In a single moment, he seemed to age 100 years. He turned to me. His eyes were filled with infinite sadness. "My time is up, David. The binding is breaking." I asked what he meant. "What binding?" 70 years I've held this lantern. 70 years I've kept her contained. But tonight, she's too strong. The storm needs a fresh soul to calm it. I asked who she was. He didn't answer. Before I could ask again, the shadows under the door began to seep into the room. They didn't attack. They rose up like a dark tide, covering the floor, climbing the walls. The blue lantern on the table began to flicker, threatening to die. Ezekiel walked toward the shadows. I screamed at him, begged him to come back. "Don't do this." He didn't scream, didn't fight. The shadows wrapped around him like a blanket, and as they touched him, he began to fade. Not die, fade, like he was never really solid to begin with. I watched his hand dissolve into gray mist, then his arm, his body, his face. His last words echoed through the stone room. "Keep the light burning, boy, or we all disappear." And then he was gone. No body, no blood, no ash, just emptiness. The blue lantern flared up, bright, steady, stronger than before, and the black shadows receded back under the door, satisfied. I was alone.
I sat there until dawn. The storm passed. The sun came up, beautiful, golden, normal. The door opened easily now. I grabbed the lantern. I don't know why. Instinct, maybe. And I limped out into the morning light. I made it to the highway, flagged down the first vehicle I saw. It was a sheriff's cruiser, brown and tan, Louisiana State Police logo on the door. The deputy rolled down his window, concerned and friendly in that easy southern way. "Whoa there, son. You look like you've been through hell. Hop in. You're safe now." I climbed in, started babbling about the old man, Ezekiel, the shadows, how they took him. He dissolved right in front of me. "You have to believe me." He just nodded patiently. "Easy now, easy. You've had a concussion. Let's get you checked out at the clinic." His response, calm. He just nodded patiently. "Easy now, easy. You've had a concussion. Let's get you checked out at the clinic. Your spirit to the swamp. You're an echo now, David. You exist halfway between life and death. You're not alive, but you're not gone either. The rule: if you leave this swamp, you vanish, just like Ezekiel. You cease to exist entirely." Defeated, hollow, the deputy leaned over and opened my door. "Get out. Sun's setting. The shadows are getting hungry. I tried to argue, tried to scream, but the moment my foot touched the asphalt of the highway, I saw my hand start to fade. Turning transparent. Smoke. I scrambled back onto the dirt path. My hand became solid again. I was trapped. The deputy leaned out the window. "I'll bring you supplies once a week. Food, books, oil for the lantern. Don't let the light go out, David. If it goes out, the shadows break loose. They'll come for the town, for your family. You're the hero now, son. You're the keeper." He drove away. Left me standing in the dust, and then I heard it. A soft purring. I looked down. Sitting on a stone was a black cat with bright yellow eyes. It looked at me with an intelligence that wasn't animal. It spoke, not with sound, but directly inside my mind. "Welcome home, keeper." That was, I don't know how long ago. Time works differently here. Days blend into nights. Seasons change, but I don't. I live in the crypt now. I hold the lantern. Every night, the shadows scratch at the door. They use my mother's voice, my wife's voice, my daughter's voice. They beg me to let them out, but I don't. I just watch the blue flame. So please, if you're driving through Louisiana and you see a blue light in the trees, don't think it's rescue. Don't think it's hope. It's just me, keeping the nightmare locked away. Don't stop. Just keep driving.